Moody greens is a captivating editing style that transforms ordinary greens into deep, rich, and atmospheric tones, creating a dramatic yet natural feel. It's perfect for adding depth and emotion to nature shots or any scene where you want the greens to stand out. Today I will show you exactly how to achieve that look using the Lightroom app. This is Nagesh and welcome to NavEdits. Before we dive in, there's an important tip that will help you get the best results from this editing style. When shooting your original photos, it's highly recommended to aim for soft shadows and avoid any harsh lighting that creates strong defined shadows. This is key because for a moody look, you want a more subtle, balanced play of light and shadow. Harsh lighting can be too overpowering and make it difficult to achieve that soft, atmospheric feel we are going for. So always try to shoot in diffused or softer light conditions, whether it's during the golden hour, on a cloudy day, or with some shade in the play, because it will give you the perfect foundation for creating those dreamy, moody greens later in editing. Let's jump into our first example in the Lightroom app. At first glance, you might think this image has some harsh lighting, but in reality, it's diffused light, meaning there are no sharp, harsh shadows to deal with. This is exactly the type of lighting we want for achieving that soft, moody look. We will start with the light menu. The first thing I'm going to do is reduce the highlights, which will help bring back more details in the brighter areas of the image. It's easy to lose those details when the highlights are too strong, so this step is key. Next, I will increase the shadows, which will reveal more information in the darker parts of the photo, giving us a more balanced exposure. Then I'll reduce the whites to tone down the brightest parts of the image. This helps prevent any areas from being overly distracting. Similarly, I will bump up the blacks just a bit, which softens the darkest areas, making them appear more grayish rather than fully black. This subtle shift in the blacks is one of the main ways to achieve that moody atmospheric feel we are aiming for. Lastly, I will add just a touch of contrast. It's a delicate adjustment here as we don't want to overpower the image, but a small increase helps define the details without losing the softness that's essential to the mood. Now that we have set the foundation with a moody atmospheric tone, it's time to dial in that signature moody green look by fine-tuning the individual colors in the HSL sliders, which you'll find under the color menu mix. First, we will target the greens. To give them the deeper, cooler feel, I'm going to shift the green hues towards cyan. This helps create that lush forest-like vibe that feels more mysterious and less vibrant. Speaking of vibrant, the greens might be too intense, so I'll pull back on the saturation. We'll still want the greens to stand out, but in a more subdued, moody way. Now forests are rarely just pure green. There's always some yellow mixed in with the greens, so we'll tackle the yellows next. To create a cooler, more cohesive look, I'm going to shift the yellow hues more towards green, which gives the image a more unified, moody color palette. Like with the greens, we'll reduce the saturation of the yellows as well, so they can often be too bright and distracting. By toning them down, we keep the focus on the mood rather than the brightness. The mud path at the bottom of the image has a lot of oranges in it, so I'll reduce the saturation there too. This helps keep the focus on the cooler tones, although if you want a more artistic look, you could keep the orange slightly more saturated for contrast. It's all about that kind of mood you're aiming for. There's also a bit of red in the image. I will reduce the saturation here as well since we don't want any warm tones to overpower the cool, moody feel we are creating. Lastly, we'll move over to the color menu. Here, I will add cooler tones to the highlights, further pushing the overall look toward the cooler, moodier side. This step really enhances the atmosphere, giving the highlights a gentle bluish tint that complements the greens and ties the entire image together in that moody aesthetic. We'll add overall vibrance too. Next, let's move on to the detail menu, where we will focus on sharpening the image. But instead of just sharpening everything across the board, we are going to be more selective to keep that smooth, moody vibe intact. The first thing I will do is use the masking slider. This is a really handy tool because it allows us to target only the finer edges of the image. Rather than sharpening every single pixel, here's a little trick. If you press down with two fingers while moving the slider to the right, you will actually see a visual representation of what's being affected. The areas in white will get sharpened while the black areas won't. This way we can make sure we are only sharpening the important details like the textures of the trees, leaves or edges of the path while leaving softer areas untouched. Once you have got the right selection using the masking tool, I will increase the sharpening amount. This makes those targeted areas pop a bit more, adding definition to the finer details without ruining the overall softness of the image. If you want to enhance the moodiness even more, the curves tool in the light menu is a fantastic option. This is where we can really fine-tune the image to give it the deep, dramatic feel. First, I will lift the blacks, which essentially softens the darkest areas by turning them into a gentle gray. This instantly gives the photo that faded, nostalgic look, perfect for creating a moodier vibe. Next, I will reduce the brightness of the shadows, adding more depth to the darker parts of the image. To balance it out, I will increase the brightness of the highlights just a bit, which adds some contrast without being too harsh. The beauty of the curves tool is that it gives you just the right amount of contrast and fade, helping to maintain that soft cinematic atmosphere while ensuring certain details still stand out. It's an easy and effective way to bring in that perfect moody look with a timeless, slightly faded feel. In the effects menu, we'll add a vignette to darken the edges of the image, which helps draw attention to the subject by bringing it into the spotlight. This subtle effect enhances the overall moody feel while ensuring the viewer's eye is naturally directed towards the center. To make the subject pop even more, we'll use the masking tools, specifically the radial filter here. This allows us to create a soft spotlight effect around the subject. I will adjust the sliders to brighten the subject slightly, lifting the highlights and whites just enough to give it some focus without overpowering the moody tone. Now take a look at the before and after, and a big transformation. You can really see the dramatic shift in mood we have achieved. We will be doing same edits on another example. I will just copy the settings from this image. You can choose all the menu settings mainly needed, then press OK. Moving to this image, I snapped a tea estate in Munnar on my Pixel 8a. Tapping on the 3-dot menu and choosing the paste settings to move all the settings from the previous edit. We already got a moody look. I'll make slight adjustments to get the look we are going for as the brightness and colors differ from image to image. We'll tune the overall contrast and brightness first, then going to the color menu to tune the colors. Instead of adding vignette, we'll add a couple of linear gradient filters to make the sky and the lower part darker. Another example here, this time with a blurred background. We can get similar results for these two with some slight adjustments to the color and the brightness. I will leave a free preset link for this moody green effect in the video description for you all to download. We'll come back soon with my next video. Subscribe for more, and thanks for watching.